All right, boys, let's do it together.
So my progression through the guiding world is a bit non-traditional, I guess you could say. I started in on AMGA programs back in 2014, right after I finished school, really. I had some climbing experience under my belt. I finally had some formal training, and I was, in a way, primed to start along the path to becoming a guide. But, not long after, I kind of took this hard turn off the normal track, and I ended up deep in the mountains of southwest China, where I kind of stuck around for nearly 7 years before the pandemic. It was, in a way, a great thing for me. My climbing really took off there, and I landed in this tiny little mountain village called Liming. And Liming really served as a base for my climbing all over Western China. I learned everything from route development to big walls.
We fought a new route.
Woohoo! It's awesome!
New routes, man. A lot of digging.
We went everywhere from Yunnan in the southwest all the way up to Xinjiang up in the northwest. And I even learned the ins and outs, kind of how climbing communities are born.
That is good, no? That is a good ride!
Since I could speak Mandarin, I was doing this weird thing where I was both learning about guiding as a profession.
Feeling good though? Feeling great, thank you. Yeah, brilliant.
You're gonna leave me hanging here?
Fabulous job, Ryder. Fabulous job, Jono. I never thought you'd get me up.
Simultaneously learning to translate and convey those concepts in a language that had never really expressed those ideas before. It felt like an out there experiment at the time. But it was a project I had really become invested in, both professionally and emotionally.
Beautiful morning from inside our bivvy cave. Get perfect sunlight. So much wide gear. Doubles, 1 for 6.
Years went by out there. I thought I had found a home, a place to really settle, and I thought I naively had the guiding thing figured out.
Feeling good, Nico?
Didn't fully appreciate at the time, I think, was that I had just been away for so long. There were just finer points in guiding that I was literally separated from. And so after this 5-year hiatus, I think, between my RGC and my advanced rock guide course, honestly, I really felt overwhelmed and intimidated by all the nuances and the finer points of guiding that I had seemingly missed out on during my long stretch in Asia.
This is not going to be uncoiling and recoiling, right? So now, hang on there, Jeff.
I really began to wonder if I could make both of these goals, professional guiding and guiding in China, truly coexist.
You did a thing.
You did a thing.
We did a thing.
A
That's
brilliant
great.
thing.
All right, let's go home.
Like nothing I've ever done in my life before.
And the Petzl scholarship really surprised me. It pushed me to reconsider those questions in a more positive context. I felt like a bit more of this winding path down this weird kind of out in left field path to guiding became visible to me.
Woodrow on the coconut stairs.
I signed up for the AGC, the Alpine guide course in the Sierra, and ended up taking the long trip from Seattle down to the east side with my climbing partner, Woody Jacobson, who also spent a lot of time climbing and guiding with me in China.
Woo! That was a move.
And luckily enough, both of us ended up being put in a pod with Jeff Unger, who's one of the IFMGA guides living in Mammoth.
With the untrundleable Jeff. Cannot trundle this man.
To establish a new master point by vectoring the initial one. One thing that is important to consider here when we get like Crystal Crag, for example.
At first it was a bit intimidating. Woody knew him from his advanced rock guide course, and he told me of all the big days they went out on and like the high expectations he put on his students.
Massive day. Day 7, 8, 9? I've lost track.
We're out on this ridge.
Got a little sleet, got a little dark cloud action.
It became clear to me pretty quickly was that I think Jeff really cared about how he both educated and mentored his students throughout their time on the course.
Okay. That's the benefit of the shortened rope, is the guide can explore. So I do think I want to be underneath the shade.
Coming predominantly from a rock climbing background, I didn't think I had that vision for some of the tricks and nuances that are, I think, so integral to the Alpine discipline.
Here, gentlemen. Following easier terrain. Sandy ledges here.
And Jeff really pushed me to see those differences, and I was honestly surprised about how much and how quickly it worked. We had this great combination of keeping it light throughout the learning process.
When you're an international mountain guide, you pack your lightweight helmet and your Alpine jorts.
We even started this thing where we always tried to slip a black totem cam into Jeff's pack or onto his harness when he wasn't looking. That became a little bit involved.
How are we gonna sneak the black totem into Israel again? Anyone?
He's least expecting it.
Ultimately, what dominated our conversation were all of these powerful tools that Jeff has learned in his decades of guiding experience.
Peek over the side, meow.
No?
Ride, meow.
Okay, so what are we thinking about here, Ryder?
Distance or length of rappel here.
And he chose some of the most classic venues in the Sierra to drop this knowledge on us. We had some pretty good days, long days in the mountains.
Dear Leader Rudra on pumpkin boat.
Repping the Covfefe pumpkin.
So the first big overnight was out to Bear Creek Spire, really one of the iconic 4,000 meter granite summits near Bishop. You know, it's really that classic high Sierra destination. You know, it's got alpine lakes and meadows and just acres of granite ridges and faces surrounding you from base camp.
2-to-1 guide that whole route.
I know. Still was a good day though, right?
Yeah, super good day.
Sweet.
We did climb the Northeast Ridge, which is one of those classic old school Norman Clyde peak bagging routes. Lots of low 5th class rock and lots of ground to cover between the start of the route and the top of the mountain. You know, it's a lot of ground to cover in a day, and Jeff wanted to do it starting from the trailhead.
How high is the dose level right now?
Oh boy! Climbing the entire route and getting down to our camp before dinner and the arrival of the other pods. Pretty ambitious.
Getting a little windy on the descent, eh? Windy peak.
So the whole day, you know, we're working our way up the ridge with these storm clouds starting to loom above us.
Guide sheet. Gonna take us back to camp comfort.
Jeff is just sprinting out into the lead and calling us to deploy all sorts of short roping and short pitching tactics, just, you know, one after the other.
Yeah, so stand right there.
But it was so mind-blowing that all of these things that Jeff was telling us to deploy out in the field were getting us, this group of 4, up the mountain so quickly. And on top of it all, we got to tag an iconic Sierra Summit as an excellent bonus.
I live up in Mammoth.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's up on this tiny summit block. Woo! And there's deer leader. Hands free. We're cozy over them, yeah.
At the time, what I didn't realize was that this was already a big day, and it was really just a warm-up for what was to come next.
Woodrow, just straight chilling on a ledge.
You comfy?
Very shufu.
The big trip was originally going to be the north ridge of Lone Pine Peak over the course of 2 days. We were going to blast up most of the ridge in a day, and then just have this picturesque bivvy like really high on the mountain.
Getting their squarm on. That's some real rock touching. Getting sandy. We are on some serious ridge.
The summer wildfire season saw to it that the day was going to get even bigger.
Ooh, just drop. Get it? Can you get it?
And I didn't think we could move much faster compared to our Bear Creek Spire outing, but somehow we did, even though the terrain really started getting a lot more complex. And this whole time, we're watching this little wildfire way down below us just kind of grow and grow.
That's some large flames now in that biz.
Camping is closed and portal's closed.
And suddenly we're seeing these big plumes of smoke just rising up from the lower ridge, and CAL FIRE helicopters start coming in and planes are circling in the sky above us.
Multi-course what going on down there now. That's a lot.
Not good. It was game on really to get to the top and off the mountain before the fire forced us to leave by some crazy distant trailhead.
Adventure climbing.
And here we are, this group of 4 just flowing up the ridge, all these little nuances, seeing all these things, and they're really adding up to push us faster and faster up the mountain.
Smoky though. Still got gas in the tank, Shane?
Oh yeah. Almost to the downhill.
Yeah, deer leader Woodrow doing a good job.
Soon enough, we're standing at the top of the mountain, watching this smoky sunset over Mount Whitney. We were absolutely worked, but yeah, we were pretty stoked.
Yeah! That was a longer day.
We even got to put some humor in there. We resurrected the black totem for one last appearance.
Are you a believer in black totems now? Jeff?
I wasn't the one whose bacon got saved by the black totem today. I think it was you there, buddy.
I never doubted it to begin with.
I used it, yeah.
Believers. I'm a believer.
I could not have thought of a better, more fitting conclusion to this Alpine guide course than the one we had.
Woo! Woodrow,
Thanks.
bringing us home.
Good stuff, guys. Appreciate the support.
Golden hour light.